The task is to express each of the following as a fraction in its simplest form. Number 6 of your Seatwork gives 3 over 4m squared minus 1 plus 5 over 2m plus 1. It is important to remember that you can only add or subtract like fractions. Like fractions are fractions with the same denominator. Looking at the denominators in number 6, they are not the same. So, we need to look for a common denominator by finding the least common multiple between the two denominators. So, looking at the denominators, you need to factor them. 4m squared minus 1 is a special product because 4m squared is a perfect square and 1 is a perfect square, and you have a minus sign in between. That means it is the difference of two perfect squares. And the factors are the sum and the difference of the square roots of its components. Square root of 4m squared is 2m. The square root of 1 is 1. Copy back the numerator. In the second fraction, you have 2m plus 1. 2m plus 1 is a prime factor because there are no common factors between 2m and 1. And neither is it a difference of a perfect square or any of the special products. So copy the second fraction. Now we can start looking for the least common multiple by creating the table. The number of rows of the table will be equal to the number of denominators plus a row for your LCM computation. There are two denominators. First is 2m plus 1 and 2m minus 1. The second denominator is 2m plus 1. The row below your second row will be for your LCM. That will be the entries of your first column. To the right of the first column will be the factors of the denominators. We need to sort them according to their prime factors. So, the prime factors in the first denominator are 2m plus 1 and 2m minus 1. The second denominator has 2m plus 1. So, post that in the column for 2m plus 1. Therefore, your LCM is 2m plus 1 times 2m minus 1. The LCM is the product of your labels or entries in your column. So this is the column for 2m plus 1. You bring down 2m plus 1. Not 2m plus 1 times 2m plus 1. Only 2m plus 1. Okay? Here, you have 2m minus 1 and this is a blank. So, bring down 2m plus 1. Your least common denominator is 2m plus 1 times 2m minus 1. The least common denominator becomes the least common multiple becomes your common denominator. Leave the LCM in its factored form. Okay? Next. Okay, now that you have your LCM, look at your fractions in the problem. The first fraction, the denominator is already 2m plus 1 times 2m minus 1, which is your LCM. Therefore, just copy back the first fraction. 2m minus 1 plus, Okay? The second fraction has only 2m plus 1. And we said the LCM should be your common denominator. So, we need to make this into 2m plus 1 times 2m minus 1. Okay? So, the denominator is changed, so there has to be a change in the numerator. So, this 5 over 2m plus 1 has to be multiplied with something to give you a fraction, an equivalent fraction that has a denominator of 2m plus 1 times m minus 2m minus 1. Okay? You can only multiply a fraction that is equal to 1 so that the given fraction, the value of the given fraction is not changed. So what is that fraction that is equivalent to 1? It is the missing entry here. Okay? Note that on the right side, you have the denominator of 2m plus 1. The missing entry is 2m minus 1. Therefore, the multiplier is 2m minus 1 over 2m minus 1. Okay? Then, distribute 5 to 2m minus 1. Okay, so this is equal to 10m minus 5 over 2m plus 1 times 2m minus 1. So the denominator here becomes 10m minus 5. Okay. And this fraction is equal to this original fraction because the multiplier is just equal to 1. Okay. Next, since you have already like fractions, copy back the common denominator 2m plus 1 times 2m minus 1. Add the numerators 3 plus 10m minus 5. Simplify the numerator by looking for like terms. Okay? 10m doesn't have a like term in the numerator, so copy it. 3 minus 5 is negative 2 over 2m plus 1 times 2m minus 1. If you look at the numerator, you can still factor. A common factor is 2. This becomes, you factor out 2, you get 5m minus 1 over 2m plus 1 times 2m minus 1. Can it still be simplified further? Not anymore. There are no common factors. So, this can be your final answer. But if you manage to factorize the numerator, this is also an acceptable final answer.